It is needed, but it has to be in small increments to where some fighters say, oh, I got these guys did me justice. I paid 3 months of $35, and they just spent $10,000 on me because I didn't get paid for my fight, or I broke my hand.
Mm-hmm. So your next fight's that promoter, right? So you can get some revenge. Your next fight's with that fucking promoter, right? So you can get your revenge.
But the good thing is, so this is one thing that I want to reach out to you that I'm going to need help on is, in a few weeks, where we got control of the hard drive. I mean, this show has a ton of stories behind it. A ton of stories of. One story is, the first fight had no judges and no timekeeper. So the first fight, the first 2 rounds were 7 minutes long.
Holy shit!
Crazy,
wow.
Yeah, and nobody knew who they won because there's no judges. Luckily, the guy got him in a submission. Crazy stories, which hopefully we can do a whole show about how many. I can tell you tons of stories.
Sure.
I'm like Walt Disney's of stories of this place. I mean, I have a ton of stories.
By all means, man, run them down.
Yeah. So one thing that I want you guys to know that I really need your help on is that in a few weeks, hopefully in 2 or 3 weeks, we'll be able to do a pay-per-view, and all the money goes into an escrow to cover all the fighters' pays.
That'd be great.
So we have the hard drives. We all pitched in and got a lawyer. Keith Jardine's manager, John Madrid, has a sister that's a really high-ranking lawyer. She jumped on board. She got control of the hard drive. Now we're just working on the logistics of the licensing and where the money goes, and the guys that one guy that had a lot of money invested, one of the investors, make sure he gets his money back. But the whole thing, we're trying to itemize it to where the fighters get paid, and if it makes $1 million, then the promoters get their money. The whole thing is, let's get every single fighter paid. It's only a $220,000 fight card. Get the fighters paid and be done with it. And that's one thing that once we figure out that we're going to do a pay-per-view from a week from now, 2 weeks from now, or a month from now, I want to shoot you guys an email and we start blasting it. Maybe we can, everybody can at least get half their money back if everybody buys onto the show.
Hell yeah.
On behalf of everybody here and on the websites that we have, by all means, man, shoot me whatever you gotta, and I will help you. We will help you to the best we can.
We have a networking site too, so hell yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna need a lot of help with all because, yes, it hurt me. Yeah, I've lost, I've lost some things, and I can't bring back, and I've lost a lot of pride on a lot of people because I had to ask for help, and that's one thing I don't like doing. But the thing is, we still got to get paid, and there's a lot of guys probably lost a lot more than I have, a lot more than what Keith Jardine's lost. But, the right thing is that the crazy thing is, guys, one of the stories is there is no guy in the backstage. There's no guy back there going, hey, you're on deck. Hey, you're next. You're fighting him. You guys get ready to go. It wasn't nothing like that. It was so unorganized, but there's so much respect for the sport and so much knowledge back there, so much veterans that knew how the sport works. Say, hey, you're fighting after me. I'm fighting after you. I'm up next. You're next. And
camaraderie.
It was just organized because the fighters knew what's going on and they wanted to fight, and it went so smoothly. There's no glitches, no nothing, but the fighters were ready to go, ready to walk out. When they called their name, they were walking out, and that was one of the cool things about it. Nobody was back there organizing everything. It was all the fighters got together and said, hey, I'm number 3, you're number 4. Okay, you're after me. It was just back and forth. It was crazy. And keep in mind,
you guys were left to do it on your own.
Yeah. It was the most oddest thing ever. And everybody went out there and fought their hearts out, gave it everything they got, and then after they walked out of the cage, the first thing that came out of everybody's mouth was, I did my job, I hope I get paid.
God, that sucks, though.
Yeah.
Sucks big time. That sucks. That really sucks.
Yeah.
There should never be a question of that. You know what I mean? That's why we have our hand out extended, ready to help out, man. By all means, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah, definitely. We can do it. We can get Keith Jardine, Elliot Marshall, and a lot of guys that people can recognize and tell their stories about those situations. Which they're all going to be about me because I'm the one was calling. One story is I'm laying there because the fights didn't start till 9:30 at night, which is Eastern time. I think it's an hour before Eastern, East Coast time. So they started at 9 o'clock at night. I didn't fight till like 1:30 in the morning. Keith Jardine fought right after me, so about 1:30 1:45, 1:50 in the morning, almost 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And we're sitting there relaxing. You know, I had a pillow brought in. I'm laying on the bench. All of a sudden, you start smelling this stuff. Like, oh, what is that smell? Well, it's Bengay. Somebody's rubbing Bengay all over themselves. I go to Elliot. I go, hey, Elliot, are you cheating? He goes, what do you mean? I said, what's that smell? Elliot Marshall looks around. He goes, wait a minute, I ain't cheating. Hey, who's cheating? Who's putting Bengay on? I mean, the whole locker room was just fumigating with Bengay. And I go, somebody's cheating. And then Mario Yamazaki walks in the back of the locker room, you know, UFC referee, official, like, and he's walking in and he's talking to somebody, you know, he's telling everybody, hey, do this, do that. You know, he had a lot of pressure on his hand because he knew what was going wrong. And I go, wow, you're refereeing tonight, right? He goes, yeah. I said, you don't smell that? You smell what? Oh, hey, who got Bengay on? He started going around. He starts walking towards us, which we're all from the States. Like, hey, no, it's over there somewhere. So like 3 Puerto Ricans or Dominicans are rubbing themselves down with Bengay because that's how they warm up at their gym. And Mario's like, no, you can't do that. And they're like, no, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. Made him take a shower and stuff. It was it was pretty funny. It was just one of those things that everyone's like, damn, these guys are crazy. And then everybody's like, well, if this locker room's doing it, what about the other guys?
Wow.
That's insane too, because even if you can, you know, grasp it all the way down to Bengay, you know what I mean, all the way down to something that simple, a simple form of muscle, you know.
But shit, that gets in your eye, you're fucked.
Yeah, exactly. Really. You're right. When it gets in your eye or it gets underneath your armpit, it's going to burn. You can't hold on to anybody.
Nope.
No.
Yeah, that's cool that it was caught. It was cool that it was caught.
Well, it's cool that it's brought out right now too. You know what I mean? That's for damn sure.
You know, I'll give you a part story that we'll talk about the next show, or whatever. We'll go on to the next question, but you get to ask everybody. The next time we start promoting this right, and you get these guys on here, you got to ask them about the paramedic that they had there. And I give you a short description.
Absolutely, man.
He had a big gold chain. I think he had the Catholic cross on it. He was probably about 5'8", 5'7", probably overweight, probably by 60, 70 pounds, carrying a yellow toolbox. And that was our paramedic.
Oh man, he's fucking ready to work, man. Holy shit!
I think his sponsor on the toolbox was DeWalt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Great.
Yeah, it was crazy, but you know, we'll definitely need you guys to help and tell these stories. So, you know, the one thing is, I broke my hand in the first round, and I still fought 15 minutes.
Yeah, so, you were talking about that. Shit.
And it just a lot of, you know, now that everybody knows that we went out there and we fought, everybody on the card fought as hard as they could fight, and you could totally tell that, you know, the waters were shaky. And we played it like we had no clue that we were not going to get paid, and everybody fought their heart out.
Well, Brian was saying you came upon some money or something like that. What's that all about?
On what?
What? Well, it was some kind of control. You said you had some kind of.
Was that the hard drives?
Yeah. We have the hard drive.
Okay. I may have misunderstood, but.
Yeah. We have the hard drive, which apparently, because they were supposed to run a pay-per-view on site, on demand, in streaming pay-per-view that following Monday, that coming Monday after the fight on Friday. So they did the production on all day Friday and Saturday and Sunday. We left Monday morning. So we got control of the hard drives, which they say the production just came really off the hook. The production was awesome with the graphics and the camera angles, and plus there was no people there, so the cameras got to get wherever they wanted to get without blocking anybody's view.
Jeez. God, man.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah. So, you know, another story is, you know, there were 60 people there in a 4,000-seat arena, and over half of that was security.
Yeah, come on, man.
Who in the hell was fucking promoting that?
It sounded like it was all promotion. Well, it sounded like it was half-ass promotion, I should say.
Yeah, it was.
When people did show up.
Yeah,
sorry, Paul. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, it was like it was like Walmart will go out of business. There's no rednecks. You know what I mean? It was pretty bad.
Paul,
ridiculous.
We let you go here, man. We just wanted to touch on, through your career, what was your proudest moment?
You know, my proudest moment was probably fighting UFC 51, which is, you know, almost 70 shows ago. UFC 51. I started out fighting, you know, having fun, you know, making $500, $500 to win, $1 to lose, and I watched the UFC 1 and 2 on TV, and I went, man, I could do that, I could do that, I could do that, and I stuck with it. I gave myself a little dream that I could do it, and it took me 8 years to get to the UFC, and I didn't stop, I didn't quit. So, you know, whoever's listening to this radio, you know, there are dreams do come true. It's just don't quit, no matter what. If your family or your best friends or anybody's telling me, oh, you're never going to make it, you can't do it, you're unathletic, you're overweight or whatever, you can do it if you put your mind to it. And I didn't quit. And that's
why we love you, man.
Yeah, and
that's why we love it.
UFC, yeah, the whole thing about the UFC, I went and all I wanted to do was step in the cage. All I wanted to do was step in the cage. That was my goal, is get invited to the UFC.
Show them what you got.
Yeah, just get invited. If I went out there and I just lost and I could walk away, that's all I wanted to do. You can ask Dana White the same question. When he asked me, you know, after I fought UFC 51, I got a great knockout, you know, good highlight reel, and I got the W, and everything was great. And Dana White comes to my locker room and goes, man, that was a great fight. You know, what's next? What do you want to do next? I'm like, going home, going back to work. I'm done. He's like, what? What do you mean you're done? I said, no, I mean, that's all I want to do is just fight in the UFC. Because you're crazy.
Wow.
He goes, you know, we're going to give you a contract. Do you want to go back to work? And my fiance at the time was like, are you crazy? We went this far and you're going to just walk away? I'm like, that was the deal, right? She's like, no, it ain't the deal. Go make some money. All right, let's keep fighting. You know,
yeah.
I just love the sport. You know, love the sport. The sport. You know, it kept me out of jail. It kept me off probation. It kept me out of a lot of stuff. And the whole thing is meeting people like you guys, the fans and the media. You know, that's just icing on the cake, makes it sweeter. And it's pretty cool that you run into people that look at you and they go, man, you're the man. You know, it's really cool. And if you met me in the streets, I'm the most easiest guy, most approachable guy. Heck, half the people that meet me can't believe I am a fighter or I fought for so long.
We're coming down to Paul's place, man.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys come on. You guys come on. If you come and stay with me, at least bring a lawnmower because I got 2 acres that's flat. I need to cut it 16 weeks. So.
We'll be doing that, man.
Yep.
Yeah. That's why whoever comes to my house, bring a lawnmower because I got a lot of yard to cut.
Hell yeah, man. We'll do that. We can do it. We can take care of that.
All right.
One thing. I'm sorry, bud. Go ahead, man.
No, go ahead.
I wanted to ask on the fight you were talking about with the UFC fight that you did, and you're like, I'm good, man. I just wanted to fight in the UFC. Was that Justin Eiler's fight?
Yes, that was Justin Eiler's. That was UFC 51.
I was, you know what? That was probably. I don't think it was the first fight I've seen from you, but oh my gosh, to me that was like, holy shit, Paul Buentello is a badass.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was the fight that really did it for me. You know what I mean? It was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, everybody tells me, every time when I saw you, one fan told me, you know, he didn't hurt my feelings at all. He goes, when they brought you out to fight Justin Eiler, I was like, where'd they find this Mexican guy from L.A. selling oranges? You know, he was giving me a hard time. He goes, I thought you were a guy from off the corner selling oranges or strawberries. I had no idea you could hit that fast. And then once I let my hands go and started fighting, and my hands were going, everything was kicking, and I got the great knockout. And everybody was like, ah. It's funny.
It just goes to show you. No, I'm sorry. I was just going to say, it just goes to show you can't judge a book by its cover. And you've proved that time and time again, man.
No,
not at all.
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah, it was pretty funny the other day. The other day I was in a little convenience store, and I was getting some iced tea, and these two guys were talking, and they were talking about, I never get in a street fight because, nowadays you just never know who you're going to bump into. You never know. And one guy goes, well, it doesn't matter who I bump into. I'll fight to the end. They're just little guys. Not little guys. These guys are pretty big. These guys make me look small. This is Texas, so these guys are huge. And the one big guy goes, well, I don't fight anybody, but if I have to, I'll fight. And I'm behind the guy and he's talking. I'm listening to the story and I